my passions. Dancing, I feel sexy, I feel free, I feel like I'm flowing, I feel the energy around me, you know? So it's like, that's why passion is so important, because when passionate, that's why I love when you have chemistry with someone, you feel passionate about them, you feel this intensity about them. So it's like, yeah, just acting from a place of passion is what fuels you. And actually, I have to record another video about this. Hold on. So I'm just going to talk about this last topic, and then hopefully I'm ending because I've recorded a lot of videos. But desire. So I was watching a few things from a few different people that were talking about how desire is the thing that gets us in trouble, basically, right? It gets us in this thing where we're stuck in this 3D world. But like, I don't know necessarily that's true. That's where we have to question everything. Is desire is not the problem. Desire is what fuels your passion. When you are passionate about something, it's because you desire that thing. When you love a food that's good for you, you have the desire for that thing. When you love a person, you have a desire for that thing. When you want to have a family and kids, you have a desire to do that. So I think that it's just that we can't just classify one thing as a write-off, that that's bad, da da da. Just like what I was saying about bud, is that I was classifying as like, oh, it's the devil's grass. It's not good for you. And then other people have been saying that it's like invoking spirits onto you. But no, I don't think that's true. I think that for alcohol makes people act aggressively and get into fights and all these things because they drink too much, and then they get angry, and it brings out negative things out of them because it was constructed. It's something that was created. Whereas bud is a plant that was from creation. If it's not artificially created by whatever, the dome, about the Noki, what I was talking about, I don't think that. I think that it was created by creation. And the thing is that for centuries they've been using it in spiritual practices, and it's been the thing to get people to tap into their spirituality, philosophical. Like, no one's fighting when they're in bud. They feel peace, they feel happiness. It invokes all these happy emotions out of you. It's just that the bud that's around today, it has so much chemicals in it, and it makes people emotionally unstable because it's not the natural form anymore. It's not the natural seed. It's so strong, has so much THC, whereas the stuff. So yeah, so for me, I think that like that's what first dived me into spirituality and became philosophical and all that stuff, was by doing bud. If I didn't do that, I wouldn't have been the spiritual person. I think I would have been still trapped into the 3D world, but that's what got me into a place where I was always positive before, a happy kid, but in terms of spirituality, no, I had no idea about that until I tapped in, until I did bud. And most people become spiritual, and everyone that does bud is spiritual and thinking about the universe and creation and asking the why, asking the right questions. So yeah, so that's why I'm not against bud. It's just the problem of overusing it, and the bud that's around today has too much chemicals on it. But side note, that was just a side note. But what I was talking about was desire. Is that desire is not the problem. Desire is not an issue. It's having desire for the right things. Having desire to eat healthy. Having desire to get out into the sunlight. Having desire to spend time by the beach. Having the desire to be in nature. Walking in forests. Like, desire is a good thing. It's just the desire that is been ingrained and programmed into us and being forced down our throat in this society is desire for content that is online that men are using to release, right? If you know what I'm talking about. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it on here, so I'm not going to say it. But that desire to engage in that stuff, and it's become something that accepted that men need to watch something. And like, so the desire to release, people have gone into the culture that they need to watch something and release, and it's become acceptable, right? And then they're so programmed with these types of, how do I say this without saying it? Types of ways of intimacy that in real intimacy they don't know how to enjoy because they've been programming their mind to think that that's acceptable. And then desire for hookup culture, right? Giving their energy away to someone and it meaning nothing, having meaningless intimacy. They've been conditioned that that's okay, and when that's your energy that you're giving away, and you're taking on people's energy and trauma. So that desire is not good for you. So it's like knowing the desires that have been programmed and been pushed into you, like you've been programmed for it because society has made it acceptable. And what do people follow is what society deems acceptable. So anything society can start saying, oh, that's acceptable, and people will start following it because society said it was. Someone said it was, right? Instead of internally looking what is acceptable. So desire is not the problem. Passion is not the problem. What's the problem is the desires that are not few. The desire to consume alcohol, right? That's not a good desire because it's poisoning your brain, it's making you hungover the next day, it's making you say and do stupid things. Like, that desire to do that for quote unquote fun is not worth it because of all the things, the repercussions that come with it. But society has made it desirable to go out with your friends and get blackout, right? So that's what you have to think about, is that what desires are not beneficial towards you and what desires are. Because it's like, for example, acting on your highest excitement, whether that's dancing in the moment, whether that's cooking a nutritious meal, whether that's learning a new skill, that desire is what fuels you to act on your highest excitement, because you get the desire to do it and then you act on it and then you feel excited and joyful after. So desire is not a bad thing. Stop listening to what they programmed and said in the Bible and start thinking things through, using your common sense to put things together and be like, instead of just saying, oh yeah, desire is bad, I'm not going to act on desire because desire is going to get me in trouble. No, think it through. Be like, no, desire is the thing that fuels you, but you have to know what are good desires that are benefiting you and what are bad desires that are taking away from your soul's essence, that are diminishing you. Because, for example, when it comes to chemistry in a relationship, right? What I said before in my last video, it needs chemistry and compatibility. But if you just acted on that desire without knowing the person and getting to know that person, then you don't know if you're compatible, and then that desire is detrimental because you're so... Yeah, if you're getting attached to just desire and not attached to the person and who they are as a person, like, then that's when desire becomes a problem, because you're just attached to chemistry and you're not seeing the red flags, let's say. So it's like, that's why I say build friendship with someone, get to know someone, because it's like, when you have the desire for someone and you don't have that, like, you don't actually care about who they are, then that's when it becomes a problem, because you're just fixated with the desire. But you have to actually care about who they are and build that emotional connection, like loving the way they talk, loving the way they act, like looking at them and saying, like, just loving the way they do little quirky things, you know what I mean? Loving the way their face looks when they do something, loving the way, like, loving their stories that they tell you, right? Being interested in their stories, that's compatibility. Being interested in the way their mind works, how they think, how they see the world, their perception of the world. Just loving the everyday things, not just being fixated on chemistry, but emotional connection, the conversations that you have, the things that you learn from each other. So desire and chemistry is not the problem, because that's what, that attraction is what gives you the desire to be with that person. But then you have to find out, you have to get to know them and really love their quirks and who they are and even their flaws. You have to accept their flaws, and you begin to, because you have unconditional love for them, if their flaws are not toxic and something that's detrimental, you see that as their quirks and you accept that about them. So yeah, desire is not the problem. It's the fact that society has been pushing down you these desires that are detrimental towards you and not serving you. So it's getting confused with telling you that desire is bad, so that you worship and live this clear-cut path that is either, it's like these two extremes, right? Either desire is bad and now you just live a way that you don't act on any desire and you just do what you're told, be a robot. And then, or you act on desire, and then you just keep acting on desire, and your life is falling apart. But you have to learn the balance of, not even the balance, acting on desires that are good for you, knowing what desires are good for you. And if you don't realize that, take some time in meditation and find out what desires are leading from a place of abandonment, insecurity, rejection. Like, if you're engaging in alcohol just to escape from reality, then the desire is not good for you. And alcohol in itself is a poison, so it's not a good desire to go down. But if you're going on your passions, like you're getting the desire to get out a brush and start painting, then that's a good desire. So yeah, just don't let them make you think that desire is bad and all these things, because I always say all these things. That's one of the words that I say often, and I have self-awareness that I keep saying that over. It's like some people who touch their hair a lot in their videos. We all have these things that we do because our programming, the way we speak, what we've learned along the way. But whatever, that's just a side note. But just literally think about your desires that are what are you're passionate about, and that will fuel you and will nourish you and make you feel fulfilled. Because if you walk in life where you're scared to act on your desires that are going to fulfill you, even people are scared to act on their passions, share a message because they want to share a message, but they're scared of how they're going to be. Yeah, so they're scared to share a message because of the fear of what will people think of me? What will they say about me? Are they gonna laugh at me and make fun of me? Yeah, are they gonna judge me? Are they gonna laugh at me? Are they gonna think I'm crazy? Are they gonna think I'm delusional? Like, especially with truth speaking, like people, 95% of the population doesn't believe on it. Only 5% of the population. So the rest of the population thinks you're delusional, but you know your truth. You know you have the desire to share this message, so you're sharing this message. So that's why it's like, don't worry about what other people are going to think and how they're going to perceive you, because they're still trapped in the matrix. Don't worry about them. Worry about what your heart is telling you. Act on that desire of what your heart is telling you in all situations of life. Okay. The kids are loud in the background and they're fighting over the rocks that I have. I gave them 2 and now they want the other 2. So I'm going to end on this. Bye.